So a friend of mine reached out to me yesterday to give her tips on how she can maximize her time on social media. Twitter to be specific, she wanted to know how she can be consistent with using Twitter, being active on Twitter while she engages in other activities. And I promised I was going to make a video on that. And trying to think about that, I realized that before I make a video on how to be consistent on social media, I needed to make another video, very very important one. Before you can be consistent on social media, you must first know that you need to understand how to leverage on social media in the first place. You cannot just be consistent on any social media platform. You can be missing it wrongly. You might be a graphic designer and you just been active on Facebook and you're consistent. It might not just be the best platform to push your consistency into, so I decided to make these videos, today's video is on how to leverage on social media. 4 steps, 4 ways, or 4 things to note to maximize leveraging on social media. And I've had different conversations with lots of friends, folks, random people on social media, and they get to inbox me. How can I be active with these on social media? I am into so and so, but I want to be active with so and so on social media, and I got to figure out that lots of them first is that they are missing out understanding what social media platform they should be thriving in. If, like I said, if you're into graphics, anything graphic, Instagram would have been the best platform. Instagram, Pinterest, and the likes. LinkedIn might not necessarily be the best platform to push anything relating to graphics, except if you want to be telling written stories. So in order to leverage on social media, these 4 things are very very important to know before we can now talk about how to be consistent on it. First thing first, pick a skill. You cannot just be on social media and you're just saying nothing, saying something does not really matter. You're just there and you don't have a direction. You need to pick a skill, and for you to pick a skill, you must first be aware of the skill you want to choose. Probably learn a skill first, or be in the stage of like figuring out the skill you want to learn. You cannot dish out what you don't know. It's just the obvious truth. You cannot be talking about programming or copywriting or what other skills do we have. You cannot be talking about designing. You cannot be talking about architecture if you don't understand it or if you have no knowledge about it. So pick a skill first, learn. And this number one advice would help you really go far, because there are many people that are out there and they are in their minds, like I always say, there's just this subtle delusion in your mind that you're doing something because you think about doing it, but you're not doing it. And I've been in that situation several times, so I'm speaking from experience. You tell yourself, I want to crush these goals, I want to get this thing done and achieve it. And because you already told yourself in your mind that I want to get this thing done, subtly in your mind begins to make you feel like you are doing it. Like you begin to get comfortable with the old idea. Oh, I'm making progress, I'm doing it. Whereas you're not making any progress. So pick a skill, be deliberate about it, pick a skill to learn. Then number two is understand the niche, or understand your niche, understand the niche of your skill. Basically, when we talk about learning a skill, most times we talk about like the parent skills. If you're talking about writing, excuse me, if you talk about writing can be broken down into so many things. Writing can be broken down into creative writing, story writing, um copywriting, technical writing, and a lot of things like that, articles and blog writing. If you're talking about designing, you can talk about graphic designing, illustration, and the likes. If you're talking about programming, talk about front end, back end. And what other skills do we have there? Do we have, if you're talking about marketing, have content marketing, digital marketing, and all. You need to be specific with the niche you're going into. You don't just have to like talk about generally, because if you're talking about being specific, it would help you break. What I'm just trying to help you do is like to try to help you break down how to be able to leverage effectively on social media and not just miss it. Because if you do not try to break it down into your niche, you might be on the wrong platform. That's just the honest truth. You might be working on the wrong platform, you might be giving all your attention on the wrong platform, and you might not achieve anything. And I figured out a lot of people do not really know how to measure metrics. when it comes to their engagement, when it comes to their social media, when it comes to even normal value given. When you're giving out value, they cannot like say this is and this is what brought this so and so ROI. This and this is what generated into this. It happens to people, and it also happens to companies as well. Then number three, compare social platforms. Now that you've understood your niche, now that you've broken it down, if you are learning writing and you're into copywriting, it might be storytelling, and you need to just compare social media platforms. There is Facebook, there is LinkedIn, there is Instagram, there is Twitter, there is Snapchat, there is TikTok now, there is Pinterest, there is what other platforms do we have? If you're into something like writing, you can maximize Twitter to write in threads, especially if it's in form of storylines. If you're into like something professional, talking about marketing, talking about business, you can maximize Facebook and LinkedIn. And I write basically on Facebook. I'm going to put my Facebook profile and my LinkedIn profile there, the link. You can follow them. You can follow me on Facebook. I write a lot on business. Write a lot on business strategy. I write a lot on marketing. I write a lot on skill development. And what other thing? On tech, on innovation, on business and entrepreneurship. I write a lot on that. So I cannot channel my stuff to Instagram through my writing, but I can channel it through my videos, which is obviously what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make videos on YouTube and IG basically to be really, really active on it. And that's because I understand my niche. I understand at first that lots of business people are active on Facebook and are also active on LinkedIn, especially LinkedIn. LinkedIn, if you want to talk about professional stuff, go to LinkedIn. Through LinkedIn, you can be able to get very, very valuable connections and likes. And Facebook too, you can be able to build audience on Facebook. You can build audience on Facebook. Then from Instagram too, not like there are no people on there are no professionals on Instagram, but Instagram is more of video related content. And if you're talking about business, it's either you now think of, okay, fine, how do I like push out my content to this platform? And that's what brings me to the last point: experiment. You need to experiment on different platforms to be sure of which one will bring you the highest engagement or the highest ROI. I've used Facebook. I've been active on Facebook for a long time, and Facebook has really helped to pass my message to lots of people. I've been able to build a very good amount of audience there that actively follow me and that engage me actively. So from Facebook, I had to move to LinkedIn. And moving down to LinkedIn, I was also able to build audience. I was able to get like some good connections, some good gigs and stuff like that. And yeah, those two platforms. So I'm beginning to think about being active on Twitter and Instagram. And on Twitter, I just make threads, just simple threads. Then on Instagram, I make the YouTube's videos I make like for YouTube. Then like try to do some editing and push on Instagram and use the relevant hashtag. So if you want to build or if you want to leverage on social media, you need to really understand all this thing. You need to first pick a skill. You need to understand or select your niche. You need to really, really select your niche. Then select the social media platform you want to use. Then lastly, you need to experiment. Don't just keep. One lesson I learned, which really helped me, was last year. Why I had to move to LinkedIn was because I was trying to advance in something. I built a good number of audience on Facebook, but I needed to build a professional kind of audience, which was why I moved to LinkedIn and I experimented. I experimented for 3 months and I saw the engagement. I realized that LinkedIn would be a better platform to talk about my business skills and other things like that. And it was just more engaging than Facebook, really, really engaging than Facebook. It brought me lots of connection, lots of new friends, and lots of it's a new circle of influence as well. So after experimenting that, I realized that give more attention when it comes to business on Facebook, on LinkedIn rather. Then when it comes to Facebook, just give relevant content that might be generalistic, because Facebook content should most times be generalistic, like it should be for general audience since they're just your not random friends. And if you want to like create a niche, probably create a group as well. So this is the first video I'll be making when it talks about being strategic about your content, and if you want to leverage on social media. Then next, I would be talking about, like my friend requested, how to be consistent on social media. That's going to be the next video. So stay tuned, subscribe to my channel to get more of this.